Hello, I'm Seth from Nelson Tiny Houses, and today behind the camera we've got Jonathan. He does all the editing now for our videos, and he's also editing an epic video series project that we're working on, teaching you how to build your own tiny house. And we'll tell you more about that later. Right now we want to share with you our latest tiny house. We've built a few since the last video we showed and now, but they've been very similar to other houses, so we didn't bother sharing them with you. This house is similar in some ways. The layout is similar, the size, but it has enough unique, cool features that we thought we would share this house with you. It is sitting on a 36-foot gooseneck style trailer, and it's about 10 feet wide. And as usual, the master bedroom is up on the upper part of the gooseneck. So in total, it's about 44 feet long. The layout is very similar, but like I say, there's some pretty cool stuff to show you. So without any further ado, let's have a look inside. Before we go into the house, there's actually a couple cool features on the outside. We did some round windows for them because they requested them. And round windows take a lot of work, but in the end, I feel like they're really worth it. This is the first time we've done such a big round window, and we actually made it out of metal that we then rusted and sealed. So it almost gives like a leathery effect that is pretty awesome and probably won't be found, well, in most houses anyway. So there's a few more features to show you in here. It's quite stormy outside, but it's quite cozy inside, and that's partly due to this little wood stove. And it is a Hobbit stove. We have installed this many times in many tiny houses. It comes from the UK, a company called Salamander. And one reason I love this stove is it's ridiculously small, but it also has a fresh air intake. So you're not competing against the oxygen in your house with your wood stove. Yeah, they're a great little stove. You got to feed them quite regularly, these little itty bitty pieces of wood, but it really does bring some life to the atmosphere. And we had to put this piece of metal here for code. It needed a certain amount of non-combustible material in front of it. But we did make it so just 4 screws, and in the summertime you can just take this thing off and you don't have any holes in your floor. So that's how we kind of got around that code. Yeah, wood stoves are just really nice, especially in such a big tiny house. They're awesome. So now we've got a little coat room, and it's also where the washer dryer all-in-one unit goes. And I'll go ahead and put my coat in there because it is ridiculously warm in here. And this is just another way of making something quite boring into something very unique. These doors were about as boring as they could possibly be, and we just added a couple of pieces of sheet metal, cut a little hole in it, and it turns out the hole kind of also acts as a nice little handle. We didn't really think about that, but sometimes there are those pleasant surprises when you're building. And so, yeah, mudroom, washer dryer unit, and then we'll just sneak into the living room area. The living room area is very similar to most of the big houses that we build. We've used this probably a half a dozen times, and it's partly because it just works so well and it's just so versatile. I've showed this in other videos, so I won't kind of like show it again, but Basically, this bamboo table here easily folds out and turns into a table for 4 or 5 people. This chair just goes over there, and there's a little table cable that hooks here and holds this end. And we find that bamboo is a really nice, stable, sturdy, good-looking product to make these kind of tables with. It also converts into a nice sized bed within a matter of a couple minutes. And there's lots of storage everywhere, which is always useful in a tiny space. And one thing that we provided for this client that we've never done before, but I've tried to sell it to people before, is a projector with a screen, because it's such a nice way to watch movies or whatever on a really big screen, but then everything kind of disappears. And the way we did this system is we just put this projector on a little sliding track. You can put it right in the center of your screen, and then when you're done with it, just put it away. And then the screen is just on the other side. It's just as simple as that. You do have to lock the door before you sit down to watch a movie. Make sure no one comes in. Yeah, nice, cozy, little livable space. And after that, maybe before we go into the kitchen, I'll show you what the loft looks like. There's not a whole lot to see in the loft. The ladder is a very similar design than we've used before. It can sit totally vertical like this, and it can also come out to go up, and it can also slide back and forth. And when you're not using the wood stove, it also can just hang. It can hang over here. But for now, I'll go up it. Yeah, these guys really wanted a house that was unique and just their own house and didn't look like any other house. And a really easy way to accomplish that is to throw some live trees in there, live branches, because you really will never see something like this anywhere else. So we put a couple in for them in here, and then a big one in the office area. And it's just such a satisfying experience for us as builders, because we get to go shopping in the woods and you don't spend any money. It's kind of the ideal shopping experience. And it's quite easy to install, to be honest, for the effect that it gives. The round windows, on the other hand, are quite a lot of work, but again, like, what you get from it is pretty amazing. And so on the inside, we actually use metal as well, but this time we painted it white, just to kind of go with the rest of the house. Up here, there's not really much else to see. There's one opening window because it does get warm up here, obviously, in the winter with the little Hobbit cooking away. But this is it's just a guest bedroom for them. And in fact, they've got a little guest bedroom down there as well. So they could really host quite a few people, which is pretty awesome for people that live in a tiny house. Yeah, that's about it for the loft. There's a bit of extra storage above the coat room. And yeah, next we'll show you the kitchen. So this is probably my favorite kitchen that we've built so far. It obviously has everything you could possibly have in a kitchen, starting with this farmhouse sink and a ridiculous amount of drawers and storage. It really has so much. In fact, the client was just saying that they have all these empty spaces that they're trying to figure out what to do with, which is a good thing. They've even got a dishwasher. We don't put these in all of the tiny houses, but they wanted one, so we gave it to them. And there's definitely plenty of room in this kitchen to have a dishwasher. These counters, again, they wanted counters that nobody else is going to have. So we happen to have some hardwood from South America kicking around. And so we just ripped it into thin strips and glued it up in the counters. And it adds a pretty awesome effect, if you ask me. Yeah, they just wanted a lot of open, kind of rustic shelving, which was again like super fun and pretty simple to do for the effect you get. It's just like a lot of chunky, nice wood, and it helps you really appreciate the wood that's in your house. They ended up going with a full 30-inch kitchen stove. They both really like to cook and eat, and so they didn't want to compromise there. And again, there was really no need to compromise. Above it is a range hood that we just put this kind of fur box around it and made it look a little sexier than your normal range hood. Behind me is just a normal little extra tall refrigerator. And then behind the refrigerator is this sliding storage door, kind of. It's only 6 inches wide, but you can really pack a lot on there, and you can see it all, which is really nice. This wasn't our invention, but we were smart enough to see it and know that that's a really good idea. So this is our version of that. Above the fridge is the heat pump unit, and that heats in the winter and cools in the summer, and it's pretty much silent, which is nice, and it also really circulates the air well. So yeah, it's just a nice little backup unit to the wood stove. I think they plan on using the wood stove all winter, but it's nice if you're going to go away for a few days to have some sort of backup. And in here is more storage. Again, like some narrow shelving that's really easy to access. And then another like counter space in here, and just tons and tons of storage. So I think that sums up the kitchen. So we'll just carry on. I'll show you the bathroom, and then we'll go up into the master bedroom and the office, and that'll be that. For the bathroom, it's pretty standard design that we do these sliding doors on either side, and we try to build the doors just because we can make them exactly the way we want them and the way the client wants them. It is kind of cool that this shelving unit kind of acts as a door as well. And we just put a mirror on the other side because it seemed like a good place for a mirror. And plus we just love making things out of metal. It's just such a nice combination, the metal and the wood. They decided to go with a composting toilet, which is, in my opinion, a really great choice. It's just a very simple, basically a bucket system. It's the same system that me and my family have lived with for 9 years, and the beauty of it is it's just so incredibly simple that there's not a lot that can go wrong. So it does require a little more effort on people's part, and you do need a place to put it. But once you've got that figured out, it's super easy, and you just put a bit of sawdust on it every time, and there is a fan running with a switch here, but you actually just, if there is anything in the toilet, you just keep the fan running all the time. It doesn't use a lot of electricity, and it sucks all that smell out before it gets a chance to come into the bathroom. So in fact, these systems smell much less than a traditional flushing toilet with an exhaust fan right above your nose. So it's really an amazing system that I wish more people would use. There's no water waste, of course, either. The sink is just pretty standard little sink. There's a bit of storage underneath there. There's a bit of storage up here, and a little extra light, and a lot of storage up above. Of course, there is, we try to put storage up high as much as possible because there are really tall ceilings in here, and there's a lot of potential great storage spaces up high. So that is about it for bathroom. We'll just head into the little office area. And I'm super excited about this area because it has these stairs in it, with this like live maple tree running through it. When I say live, I don't mean it's alive, but like the edges are kind of live edge. And that's really what they wanted. They wanted like really organic feeling wood. In fact, these stairs, we made them, it's all out of solid birch, and we made them all kind of square because it was easy. And the clients were like, well, actually, could you curve those edges? And of course we were a bit resistant to it, but then we spent a day curving it and making it look really organic. And then of course we realized that they were right, and it looks 100 times better like this. So yeah, they're just super sturdy, beautiful stairs that also kind of go seamlessly into a desk. In fact, there is one seam, but they asked us to do that because this is where a crib would go if it is needed in the future, which hopefully it will be. This slab just comes out really easily, and it's the perfect dimension for her grandmother's crib. So that's pretty awesome. Yeah, and then this, if you want extra space, this just slides out of the way. Or if you don't want to let the little dogs up there. Yeah, that's the stairs and the desk. And behind me is another big closet storage space for clothes. And then it's also a bit of the utility room as well. It's where the on-demand hot water tank is up there. Again, lots more storage. And then we even put storage underneath this floor. There are drawers. One reason why we did this extra step here, or like elevated floor, was for that storage. These drawers go like about 4 feet deep, but it's also because it allowed us to build one less step in our stairs. So it just kind of worked out perfectly. Sometimes you get lucky. So you go up the stairs to go into the master bedroom. And there's actually a king-size bed up here, which is pretty awesome. The amount of sleeping abilities in this house is pretty great. Why not have a king-size bed in your bedroom? You don't really need this space for anything else. However, there is quite a bit of storage underneath this bed. There's actually a lot of storage. And we used some lift supports to make it so it lifts up quite easily. And it's, again, quite a simple design, but it allows for a lot of extra storage. And then behind me is just a very small little side table. Kind of matches the little the maple branches for legs. And then another matching small round window. And they've got a pretty awesome view of a farmhouse and some hills out that little window. And then one thing, again, like we were just trying to make things that were super unique. So all the trim, we cut these 3 holes and we put rusted metal behind it to kind of tie in the round metal effect that's going on. Yeah, it was one of those things that didn't take too long and really makes it super unique. And then we did add like a little cubby over there just to have a place to put more stuff and more light. And it was kind of wasted space on the other side, so we figured we would give them the access to that space on this side. So that is about it. There's not too much more to show you. We really enjoy being able to share these houses with you guys, and we'll do more so in the near future. We've just built a really tiny house, which we haven't done for about 6 years. So, and not because we don't love building small tiny houses, it's just we build what clients want us to build. So we were super excited to build a really small one, and we'll be super excited to share that with you this winter. And also check out our video series that we're working on, where we're trying to teach people how to build their own tiny house, because there is nothing more rewarding than building something yourself. And we really just want to help people to do that and get more people living in tiny houses. So if you want more information on that video series, you can go to our website, nelsontinyhouses.com, and check that out. And yeah, keep watching tiny house videos. Thanks. So what do you guys think about your tiny house?
Yeah, so we've been here for about a week now, and honestly the whole experience has been amazing. It really feels like our space because we were able to fully customize it, so it was wonderful.
Really easy to move in. We had no issue with storing our clothing, shoes, extra summer things, winter clothes, all that. All the hidden storage has been very beneficial and appreciated.
Yeah, tons of space, so yeah. We couldn't have asked for a better home, so thank you so much, guys. Bye.